right, boys. Hope everyone had a good week. Before we jump into our wins and fails for this week, we actually have a listener.
All right.
Nice.
I'm going to call it a fail. I'll read it out. You guys kind of...
We'll judge if it's a fail.
Yeah, you
we'll
make a
judge.
determination. So a big shout out to Michael from Ohio. His message goes as follows. Dear Chief Dad Officers, long-time listener, first-time emailer here. I've got a Father's Day fail that still haunts the running path near our neighborhood. So it's 7:45 a.m. on a Saturday. My wife says, why don't you take the kids out jogging in the stroller so I can sleep in? I think, perfect. I'll be super dad and get a workout in at the same time. I've got a triple stroller. Yes. 3 seats across. Basically a small parade float. I pack it with 2 sippy cups, a bag of goldfish, 2 plastic dinosaurs, 1 emotional support bunny, and a Bluetooth speaker blasting Encanto. About a mile in, I'm sweating bullets and start regretting my fitness dad era. Then, my 4-year-old yells, Dad, I have to pee. I panic. I'm mid-run, miles from a restroom, and we're on a suburban path with no good tree cover. So, I veer off the trail and sprint, still pushing 80 pounds of chaos to the side of someone's backyard. Trying to maintain dignity while shielding my kid like I'm on the FBI. Mid-pee, the 2-year-old decides this is a group activity and starts climbing out the stroller to go pee too. At that exact moment, a couple walks by, sipping coffee and smiling, and say, "Ah, look at that dad out with the kids. What a great memory." Sure, great memory if your definition of memory is 1 kid peeing on a garden gnome, 1 throwing a full pouch of applesauce across a driveway, and me chasing a runaway bunny down a storm drain. Anyway, we walked home. No run was ever logged. I lost one of the Crocs, and when we got inside, my wife said, "You were only gone for 12 minutes. Happy Father's Day from me." Michael from Ohio. I mean,
12 minutes.
Great,
That is so legit.
For 12.
so much happened in 12 minutes as
feels
well.
like
That's how it happened. It's never like a slow. I mean, very rarely is it a slow burn. It's always like,
Well, shout out to Michael.
Yeah,
Thanks
good job,
for,
Michael.
Thanks
Great,
for sharing
man.
that. We
Yeah.
really appreciate it.
I love the
anyone top
initiative.
that,
I love the
or-
initiative, by the way. I'm just saying I could do this. Yeah, give me the triple stroller.
Yeah. No, mine pales in comparison to
Okay.
Michael's. Mine was the I guess you could call it a fail. It's more of like a whatever. Well, you guys can be the judge of it. Yesterday, my wife's out. Last night, I'm not sure what it was, but she was out. Home with dad. It's like being dad at home. It's like 8:30, and we've had nice weather now, so we let the kids play outside till bedtime basically. So I call them in, and I'm doing something in the bathroom, like downstairs. And all I hear is this like crazy screaming commotion upstairs. I'm just like, what is going on? And they're like, there's poop all over my bed. There's poop all. And I'm going, oh gosh. And then my one daughter, she comes flying out of the room with no pants on. And the other one's running, there's poop all over. She pooped. I'm like, what is going on? I guess she had wiped her butt on the cover, on like the thick cover. Dude, it was a mess. It all got cleaned up.
Yeah.
We had some discipline, but little
Why
poop
is
monsters.
poop at the center of so many dad fails?
Yeah, like it's
I
on
don't-
dad's
I don't-
watch.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's dad's watch. Maybe we're not watching. Maybe that's
Yeah,
the
maybe
problem.
that's why.
Maybe that's
But,
it.
You're right.
but
They
dude,
know.
it is an epidemic.
Well, that's a nice segue into the topic for this week, because it's all about Father's Day, and we obviously celebrated Mother's Day recently and did a topic about that.
Yeah.
So let me kick it off with a question: what does the perfect Father's Day look like to you? Who wants to kick it off?
What do you got, Matt?
Man, a perfect Father's Day. I think it changes over time, but I have 4 girls in my house, and needless to say, there's not a lot of quiet time going on in the Welch household these days. So it's just a little quiet time would be nice. It's like I want to spend time with my kids on Father's Day. I think that's the point,
Yeah.
obviously, right? But yeah, if I could get a nice breakfast,
Okay.
some time with the kids, maybe around a golf-in with either my dad or my father-in-law would be a great day. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, did you historically? Did you go out with your dad or grandfather on Father's Day, like go golfing, like the guys go golfing, or was that a thing you did?
My funny thing is my dad's birthday is always right around Father's Day.
Okay.
And so is my brother's birthday.
Yeah.
So actually my mom would coordinate a golf trip between my mom and my brother and my dad, the 4 of us.
Okay,
So a
nice.
lot of years we try to do like one of those, we try to get out and
Yeah.
play all together as a family, which
That's
is
cool.
always cool. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. How about you, Naveed? What do you got?
I was struggling to collate all my thoughts around what the perfect Father's Day
I thought you hit us with a poem.
looks
actually
like.
by now.
No
about
poem,
this.
but I did write down my thoughts on
Okay,
this.
good.
So again, as I mentioned in the Mother's Day episode, growing up in the UK, Father's Day and Mother's Day, we didn't really celebrate. So when we came to...
Well, you crapped on Mother's Day when you came. I remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I'm sure Father's Day
I-
was like held up like this gold standard.
Yeah. Public holiday was declared in the Kiani household. But then, and obviously my wife does an amazing job at making me feel special on these days. But if I was to craft the perfect Father's Day,
Okay.
I wrote down some thoughts, and I took, you touched
hear
on
it.
a couple of
Yeah.
those things. But just if you wouldn't mind giving me the floor for about 30 seconds.
All right, 30 seconds.
you got
to
it.
dazzle you
All
with,
right.
with what I think. I titled this A Father's Day Well Spent.
So this
This
is a
is a
poem.
poem, yeah.
Come on,
No,
man.
it's not-
you
it's not
snuck
a
in
poem. It's
another
not-
freaking poem.
No. It's not a poem. It's all written prose.
Okay.
But it needed a nice title, so that's what I went with. It begins in rare...
This is a poem.
It's not. Would you let me finish?
Okay, go ahead.
Would you let me finish? How do we cut his mic? Cut his mic.
No, I think we need to cut someone else's mic.
A Father's Day Well Spent by Naveed Kiani, age 35. It begins in rare golden silence, not the ominous hush of mischief, but the sacred stillness of a house still asleep. The coffee is hot, strong, and uninterrupted. No cries, no chaos, just the soft hum of a quiet morning and the quiet satisfaction of presence. I slip into the garage and begin a modest but invigorating workout, a ritual that feels less like punishment and more like a reclamation. Muscles awaken, the mind clears. It's not about gains today, it's about grounding. Then comes the round. 18 glorious holes under an azure sky, with a trio of friends who know exactly how to rib and encourage in equal measure. The swing is inconsistent. The putting is suspect at best. But one perfect iron shot sings off the club face, and that's enough. That is everything. Back home, I collapse into a nap of mythic proportions, the kind where time ceases to exist. I wake up disorientated, refreshed, and vaguely unsure if I've slept for 40 minutes or 4 hours. It's the mark of true paternal luxury. Later, I take my rightful place behind the grill, apron on, tongs in hand, presiding over sizzling steaks and charred vegetables, like a backyard maestro. The kids buzz around, sticky from popsicles, shouting half-formed jokes and declarations of love. I let them steal bites off the cutting board. I let everything slide today. It's my day, but it's their presence that makes it whole. As twilight fades into evening and the dishes are cleared, there's one final indulgence, stillness, and her. The day closes, not with fanfare, but with closeness. My wife and I settle into the quiet together, a glass of something poured, the soft weight of a shared blanket, and the kind of wordless, warm embrace that says, we built this. And today, it held. No lavish gifts, no big show, just the unspoken magic of a day done right. I mean, what do we think? That's the perfect Father's Day.
Well said, Naveed. Well
Should we
said.
end the episode there?
I mean,
Seriously.
yeah.
What's your perfect Father's Day, Andrew?
I don't know, man. I would say I didn't prepare a 4-minute, whatever you said, prose or whatever that is.
It's not poetry. It's prose.
That
wasn't poetry.
When you're talking about azure skies, it's pretty darn close to poetry. I'm pretty simple when it comes to Father's Day. Like, I don't know, wake up, breakfast, whatever the kids make. I always try to be a good sport about it. Like, yeah, there's gonna be eggshells in it, whatever. I don't really care about gifts. I'm not a big fan of gifts. Just make me a card or something. And I don't really like. Maybe I didn't grow up with it, but like I don't ever think about golfing on Father's Day. First off, every single golf course is absolutely packed.
Yeah,
to where
that's
it's like
true.
I don't want to go spend 7 hours, to try to get an 18 in as opposed to typically whatever 3 to 4 hours. So it's like I don't know. I just kind of want to hang out with my kids, be with my family.
Yeah. What's the best Father's Day you guys have had?
I can't think of anyone in particular.
Started out in the garage. with
Garage.
I'll give you.
Not for a
you
pump though, just to wake up.
just to sit there and sniff gasoline in the corner. Really awaken the muscles.
No,
Listen, I don't make fun of your Father's Day.
You did. Yes, you did make fun of my Father's Day.
I'll tell you a really fun Father's Day that we did. We actually did this last year, and obviously it's weather dependent. But I don't know if you guys get caught up in this where, you're obviously celebrating Father's Day as you being a father, and then you've got like maybe your father-in-law, your own dad, and like you're kind of juggling,
right.
Everyone's schedule, and then your siblings and your plus ones, and their plus ones rather are also kind of juggling that stuff. So we did a Guardians game last year. It was open invite for everyone. And we bought nosebleed seats, and it was like reasonably early on in the season.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of space for like the kids to spread out. And the Guardians do an amazing job of having like the kids zone, or that area where like the kids can play.
Oh yeah, it's great.
And
up
we
there
had
at the
so
stadium.
many adults like in the group. So kids were kind of siphoning off with like different adults and doing their thing. And parents were able to like take a break from, watching the kids and watch the game. We had a great Father's Day last year doing that. So that's a pretty good dad hack
idea.
because you can invite everyone, and so it's everyone kind of as like dads and their kids and whatever else.
Yeah.
But that's
Is that your plan this year?
No, it's not actually.
Okay. So he's identified the best Father's Day.
Well, that was my previously best Father's Day. What my wife has, if she's listening to this, I don't know how we're going to top that, but that was pretty fun.
I'll say too, because it's in the middle of June always.
Yeah.
We do get great weather up here, and a couple of the best Father's Day I remember was just like that sun setting, like the back half of the day outside. The grass is green, the kids are outside running around, family's over.
Have you been reading my poem?
I was gonna say, I can start describing this. It was that's a great day, man. You can't when you get those days in June, like June in Ohio is. And I lived in the South for a while. There's just something about the soil up here. I'm just gonna say it, just throw it out there.
Yeah.
There's something about the soil around here that just hits a little different, especially probably because I'm from here. But
Father's Day is one of the few days where I feel like you can just guilt-free do nothing as well.
I will say I have had years where I end up cutting the grass though, or doing something outside because I'm just like, look, I don't want to do it today, but I just have to. This is the only time I have to do it. So
I can't really think of anything. I mean, we typically have to go over like, you go over an in-laws, you go over your own dads or whatever.
Yeah.
I can't think. I try not to make a big deal out of anything. Let's just kind of take it all in stride. I would never be like, no, it's my day.
You don't come down with a crown on.
I will say every once in a while when the kids are getting like rambunctious, you're like, guys, come on. It's Father's Day.
Yeah.
Act normal.
What do your partners think of Father's Day? Do they try and make it a big deal for you?
Oh yeah, my wife always, and I'm always like, listen, I don't need or want anything. Just it can be super normal.
What gifts you normally get?
I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Like I think one year I got like
do you
a nice
request
putter.
gifts or no?
No, I will never request a gift. Like Anna will ask me like, oh, what do you want? For this. Rarely do I ever say anything.
Yeah,
because I'm terrible with it. Like it'll be like the day before Christmas, like, hey, I got myself a new 60 degree. They're running a great sale. And she's like, great. Glad you went and did that.
Yeah, let me just return the one I already got you under the.
So I'm terrible with it. So I don't really expect much. But my wife's really good with like themes, and she'll be like, okay, everybody's gonna get you a piece of an outfit. So somebody gets shoes and a belt and a whatever, and like typically like she'll do something like that. But I don't want to put the like stress on her. So I'm like, the kids, whatever, like as you get older, at least in my point of view, like when you're a young kid, just like make a card or something like that for write a poem maybe, or whatever you said.
I write myself a poem,
right, whatever. Do that as a kid, and then as you get older, if you're like, okay, my dad likes golf, I'm going to go buy golf balls for my dad. Like do something that makes it sound like you know or think about your dad. But I don't try to put much on my wife. She obviously takes a bunch on. She tries to make it a special day for me, but I try not to make it.
What do your kids do for you? I feel
they
like
usually makes a lot of stuff. Yeah. I get hit with a lot of crafts, a lot of cards.
Yeah.
It's great. And it's funny though, because I think you brought this up, Andrew, in the Mother's Day episode, how during Father's Day, we're typically like, just don't spend money. Just like, because like, that's how usually it's the same thing. It's like, look, we don't need to spend any more money on anything, But what about you, man?
Gifts wise, my girls are a little bit younger. It's usually like arts and crafts. And it's usually like flowers that they've pulled from the backyard and just destroyed. Like some kind of plant
As it-
in the backyard, and there's usually like random bugs on the plant as well. We usually try and do something that is us time in the morning, and then something that's like broader family time, like in the afternoon, because my father-in-law lives like reasonably close by. We always do like a big sort of pancake breakfast.
Okay.
So we'll do that with the kids. Any activity where like the kids can help make the breakfast, that's usually what like runs the house on our side. Also the same way, I try and make sure there's no gifts in practice. But similar to you, I buy myself everything I kind of need, so I don't really need it to be anything specific. While I did obviously bore you guys with that poem, I also don't really play golf like on Father's Day.
Of course you don't. Like nobody. I think when you have a young family specifically, as you get older, like I can absolutely see like one or two of my sons being like, "Hey, Dad, let's go play golf," whatever. As we get older, but when you're young with your family, it's like there's something. As much as you can complain and be like, "Oh man, I wish I could go golfing today." Something about like you kind of want to be home with your kids. The whole point of it is to like, to dwell on the fact or kind of sit in the idea of like, okay, being a father is extremely hard. Yeah. This is one day that you can kind of sit aside, whether you're thinking about it, whether the kids are saying, Dad, we love you. We're going to make you eggs with eggshells in it or whatever it is.
Do you guys get sentimental on Father's Day? Do you like ever sit there and like reflect on like what it means to be a dad on Father's Day?
Not necessarily on Father's Day. I'll have moments outside of Father's Day.
Yeah.
But I don't think Father's Day is anything special. It's usually more of something like, kind of like you talked about, like in your poem.
It wasn't about a poem. Like, it was prose. It was written prose.
About like at the end of the day, like we have like a pool and our kids play in the pool. And there's so many times throughout the summer where like, sunset is kind of, and I'll just sit there and be like, man.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? This is a good day. It was a good day. What was that?
Ice Cube?
Ice Cube, yeah.
Today was a good day.
It was a good day. Nice. I feel like Ice Cube sometimes. Yeah.
Even got to hear the kids play. Today was a good
day. Exactly.
Dad version.
Well, let me throw some dad stats at you.
Right.
What do you think the average age of a first-time dad is in the U.S.?
In the U.S., 24.
What do you think, Matt?
I'm going to bump it up a little. I think it's changed over time, so I'm going to bump it up a little, like 27.
So in 1980, it was 27. In the year 2025, the average age of the first-time dad is 31 years old.
31.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's much older than I thought.
That's insane.
Yeah, especially changed a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I could get like in New York and California, like it might be a bit older. But like when you consider every state here, 31 felt really
31.
old.
I mean, Kentucky, they start at like 16, don't they?
Well, New York, they're about 42. So
That's true, yeah.
Kind of even
I think
evens
people
out.
have gotten married later, so it just pushes that out.
Yeah.
And, pushes it all out.
80% of people say their dad is the most influential person in their life.
I'd buy that.
Yeah.
Dads, on average, spend $30 per person less on a gift.
Wait, what was that?
Yeah, say that in a different way.
So a Mother's Day gift versus a Father's Day gift.
Okay, so Father's Day
if a
gifts
dad
are like
is spending
$30
versus a Mother's Day spending, the average gift is about $30 less on a per person
that makes sense.
basis.
Yeah.
How many dads do you think plan their own Father's Day?
Percentage-wise?
Percentage-wise.
15%.
Yeah, like 10% maybe, if you're that type of dad.
Why are you looking at me when you say that type of dad? That poem was a subtle reminder to my wife.
It's a prose. They're prose.
It's prose.
Okay.
Sorry, my bad. Prose.
25%
of dads.
25%?
That seems really, really, really high.
Yeah,
It seems really high. Yeah. Unless you're like, hey, I'm going golf and I don't really care what you have to say. If that's considered planning.
I guess so. If you're
Planning
like,
for divorce. I don't think that's planning for anything.
Planning for an unhealthy unhealthy day.
I could see that though. If you get like the pass, like this is your day.
Yeah, I could
do
see
whatever
that.
you want. Like maybe you plan something out.
But being like, hey, I want you guys to wake up at 6:30 to start the whatever, and then by 7:30 I expect to have breakfast at bedside. I think that'd be pretty aggressive.
Have you been reading my diary again?
I think it'd be pretty aggressive, father.
How many dads do you think cry during their first Father's Day? First Father's Day.
42%.
What? That's randomly plucked out. What do you think, Matt?
I'm sorry. You just threw out the random number. That's where I'm at. I have no idea. I'm like, you're crying either because you're just tired still, and you're just like,
or you're happy.
we made it to
Go
a
for
year. Yeah. What's the stat though?
1 in 4 dads cry during their first Father's
25%.
Day.
Okay, so
Okay.
25%.
Yeah,
There you
yeah.
go.
I actually think I might have done. Actually,
I did not.
I think I did.
Yeah.
No.
Father's Day is the 4th biggest holiday for dining out in the U.S.
I buy that.
behind Mother's Day,
Yep.
Valentine's Day, and
Oh,
New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve I
Oh,
buy.
okay. Yeah.
Mother's
So
Day
New Year's
I buy.
Eve is number 1. Valentine's Day is number 2.
Father's, I'm a little surprised because I do feel like it's a summertime and, a lot of, you get the grills out again in
agree.
the pros, you bust that out, but it's easy. And that's the
Yeah,
thing.
and you
If-
take
if
your dad out a lot.
That's true.
Like,
yeah.
like
think about
I
that.
would take like Mother's Day or Father's Day is really one of the big indicators of why I would take.
You know
my
what's really
parents out.
funny when I read that stat though is, okay, dining out, fine. I'm willing to bet the dining out for a father is
Yeah.
so much more simple than a dining out for
It's
like a mother
Applebee's or like steak and shake or something like that.
Yeah.
versus a fancy brunch for like Mother's Day.
$185
mimosas.
per person brunch on Mother's Day.
There's a dress code involved.
Chef special.
For Father's Day is like, listen, can I go there in sweatpants?
Yeah.
I'm not going unless I can
Right.
go in sweatpants.
Unless there's unlimited breadsticks, I'm not going. There's no way. How many countries do you think celebrate Father's Day?
I don't know. Is this a Hallmark holiday or what? Is
Yeah,
this
I
a,
have no idea.
oof.
I would look at it more of just like North America. So like,
yeah.
you have Canada, you got the United States. You said the UK didn't have it, right?
The UK does. I think that was just more my family. They didn't really
Okay.
do it. We were emotionally stunted
Oh,
growing
7 countries. I have no idea.
I'll go 12,
up. Oh, it's 20.
20. Okay.
20 countries.
Wow. I bet you Australia has it.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. It's in Australia.
In the
It's
Western
September.
Yeah.
Father's Day's in September. Spain is in March.
Yeah, most of the EU probably would have
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Some
yeah, yeah.
version of it.
For dads over the age of 50, what is the most popular type of gift? We referenced
Tools.
I would say clothes.
it. Tools is close. Grill accessories.
Really?
Yeah, I guess it's in the summer. Like it's
Yeah,
summertime.
like I was saying,
guess.
it's the summertime. That's the like go-to dad gift. You know what I mean?
I guess.
New spatula.
Spatula.
It's kind of funny. So never mind. I can't say it on the episode because we got a gift coming from my dad that
okay.
actually is a grill gift.
There you go.
But he suggested it. Okay, he suggested
over 50,
it.
so
he
there you go.
suggested
Your
it.
dad doesn't listen to this anyway.
Yeah,
He's
he
fine.
does. He falls asleep before we get to minute whatever 15 or whatever we're at.
I'll throw one more stat at you. This was actually really interesting when I came across it. What percentage of stay-at-home parents are dads?
18%.
You think, man, wow, you're really specific on these numbers. No one's rounding to the nearest 5 or 10 over there.
Listen.
I'll go 20. I'll just go up by 2.
Thank you.
Thanks, Price is Right.
Yeah, it's pretty much my
Actually,
strategy.
17.
It's pretty much my strategy. $1
I actually
Naveed.
appreciate the multiples of 10, to be honest. 17%.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, no, you were close.
come on.
Nailed it. You were close.
Yeah.
You were close. You were close. Yeah. I was really surprised by that, actually. What does what about like being like off duty versus like being present, like on Father's Day? Yeah, like how do you kind of balance that? Because I feel like I always start the day being like, oh, I can't wait to be like air quote off duty.
Yeah.
But like I feel like that dad guilt just like starts creeping in, and then I feel myself getting more and more plugged in throughout the day. How do you guys kind of balance off duty versus being present?
I'd probably say it's kind of the same. Like the morning starts with like, okay, they're all waiting on you hand and foot. And then, by 9:30, reality kind of sets in
Yeah,
of like,
right.
that's not the case. And
You're saying AM, 9:30 AM?
Yeah.
To be clear.
Like an hour after an hour, whatever, 2
Yeah.
hours, 3 hours after you wake up. We're like, my wife and I wake up pretty early. I would say on Father's Day, is like one of the few days where I'm like, I'm just going to wake up when I wake up.
Yeah.
And typically that means like a little bit later in the day.
Your body lets you? I can't do it.
I'm saying like 7 probably versus maybe 5:30.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, and also like you have to fake you're sleeping because your kids are like, oh, we want to do breakfast in bed.
Yeah.
And then the first course of like super soggy cereal comes in, and then the second course of like really cold eggs, and you're like, whoever's timing these courses is doing a terrible job in the kitchen.
Who's the front end manager here? We
It
need a
smells
runner.
like burnt eggs throughout the whole
Irony,
house.
it's not your kids, it's just your wife.
She's like, stir it up. Send it.
These eggs are soggy.
It's raw. So I would say that that's probably this pretty early in the day, and I think my wife always tries to make it, and I probably like push myself into being like normal. Like you mentioned, doing something like if like everybody's taking care of the house, I'll be like, oh, I'm just gonna go out and like skim the pool or something like that. Just kind of hang out by myself, and that leads into like fixing something or be distracted with something else. Yeah. And pretty soon your elbows deep in a project, being like, this is Father's Day. Why am I doing this?
Right. Yeah.
What did you guys do for Father's Day growing up? I kind of shared that Father's Day wasn't really like a big thing growing up. What did you guys typically do like growing up?
I think literally like pretty much the same thing I'm talking about. Like wake up, make my dad. My dad never woke up. He would be like, if he could sleep till like
Father's Day?
Any day.
Oh, just any day.
Like if he could sleep till noon, he would. Right. So he was usually a much later wake up guy, like a 10 o'clock in the afternoon wake up guy. And he always worked third shift, so he'd always had weird hours. But yeah, when Dad woke up, we'd be like, okay, make pancakes for Dad or whatever, and then we'd always try to go like play like catch in the front yard or some like idyllic, suburban whatever. But for the most part,
Yeah.
just kind of let him do what he wants to do. And then we'd always go over like, we had no grandparents, actually, no grandfathers. So like typically I think we'd go over like
how does that work? Like, do you like a
They
grandparents?
died. That's how it worked.
No, how did
They were born in the teens, and life was pretty hard back then.
how did grandparents get scoped in for Father's Day? Is that a thing?
It's an Italian thing. We do the same
Yeah.
thing. Like if there's any type of holiday, usually there was other family involved. Like it was always turned into that.
Yeah, you always like go pay your respects to the grandparents, just flat out, like didn't matter. So like, I don't know why, but at least that's how we were raised. But yeah, we didn't have any grandfather. I never had a grandfather. Like I never,
Really?
never
Like,
ever.
never-
Yeah,
You
my
never met him?
grandfather passed away on my dad's side before I was born,
Yeah.
and then on my mom's side when I was reasonably young as well.
I think my mom's had maybe like just born when he
Okay.
passed away, but I never had one. So when
Quick segue. So like, obviously, like you've had kids like reasonably young, and they'll invariably have kids when you'll be, I guess, reasonably young.
Yeah.
So is that a part of it? Like you guys are like excited to be young grandparents? Is that something that goes through?
I mean, we talk about it pretty frequently in the sense of like, we hope to be grandparents that have like a bunch of energy for the kids, and that you can really start to establish like, at least in our opinion, like a really cool like tradition and history inside of your family where, okay, we have 11 kids and you just multiply like, okay, if the average person has 2, like you have a massive group of kids. And like, I think it'd be a lot of fun to be able to always like hang out with some of my like grandkids and do fun things with them, especially as they grow up, and then to be able to help them through like the difficulties in life. I know my wife's grandfather, on her father's side was super impactful to like most of the people in the family. Like they all held him in such high regard because of the way in which he went about his life. Yeah. And I never got to meet the guy. He passed away before I started dating my wife.
Right.
But like there is like lore, it's like folklore around this guy of how, nothing was too hard for him. Nothing was too big for him. He was a captain in the Navy. He was an amateur pro boxer. He did all these crazy things like Big Fish. Everybody see the movie Big Fish?
Yeah, great
like,
movie.
That is kind of like how he comes off. And whether I'm that or not, the idea would be that you can have, you can influence kids in a massive way. And when you're a grandfather, like theoretically, you've already accomplished enough in your life to where like you can be extremely generous and extremely generous with both monetarily, but also with your time with a kid where, your son might be in the throes, your daughter might be in the throes of trying to accomplish something. You as a grandparent can be pretty active. So yeah, we've thought about it. Yeah. We like it.
Wow,
That's the goal.
that was a really well thought and crafted response.
We didn't just randomly accidentally have with 11 kids. Like we've thought about this and prayed.
No,
I would have. We've
done.
Yeah,
I would have clapped that response if I could, but these pants are all tight. I can't
just a slow clap.
Well, I tried to like scoot and do a clap.
I got my fingers crossed over here. I'm a little older, started a little later, so we're just hoping for the best, guys.
What about? And this is a hard pivot from that well thought out response. Is if Father's Day had a theme song, what would it be?
Father's Day had a theme song. It'd have to be some. Well, I mean, I think a lot of people have different theme songs. I think it'd be a lot of different ones.
Yeah.
I think it would have to be something like a hair metal band from the 80s. Not necessarily like good in the sense of like, maybe Maybe like a Bruce Springsteen song, like an anthem. It'd be an anthem song. It'd have to be an anthem song.
I know that's a tough question, Naveed.
I feel like I'm like slightly embarrassed with what I've written down.
Harry Styles. We know it's Harry Styles.
Harry Styles.
I've got "Simply the Best" by Tina Turner.
Oh, Tina Turner.
Tina Turner.
Okay.
Simply the best.
Okay.
Yeah,
Doesn't apply to either of you bozos.
I was thinking a Highway to the Danger Zone.
I was
Kenny
thinking, that's what I was
Loggins.
thinking, like Highway of Danger, a song like that.
Yeah,
right?
me too. Yeah,
Where it's
yeah.
like, like you're putting a bandana on, you're definitely wearing cut-off jeans, you're wearing cut-off t-shirt.
Yeah, that's right, man. Any
drinking
dad,
a Pabst or
any
something
dad
like
would be
that.
Why
proud
can't
to
you
walk
do that
in
with
there.
Tina Turner?
Yeah, yeah, you can.
Have a
You know,
float
Ike
your
was
boat,
doing
Naveed.
that.
Real quick segue. Tina Turner the musical. Did anyone ever
No, I
catch
didn't
that
see it.
when
No.
that was
Was
in
it good?
Cleveland? Oh,
No.
really good.
I think I heard it was really
good. Yeah, we watched it. Why am I blanking on the theater? What's the one downtown?
Playhouse Square.
Playhouse Square.
Yeah.
Yeah. We watched it at Playhouse Square. Awesome. Really good.
That's
you guys
great.
Get a chance
Yeah,
to.
didn't go.
Yeah.
So I thought we would do something a little bit different this week,
All right.
and something possibly a little bit fun. So instead of a listener question, I went straight lightning round in terms of questions related to Father's Day.
Father's Day.
And
Are these like yes, no, or these?
these are, I'll read them out,
Okay.
and you kind of just don't really think about it. Just give me an answer. And I think they start off like reasonably easy.
All right, wait. How are you getting involved in this? Can we do a couple and you can get hit, or have you read them all?
Yeah. How about you read like 3 or 4?
And then I'll read a couple.
Yeah, read a couple, and then I'll read a couple or something like
Yeah.
that.
Well, I'll read them.
I know
and
how to read,
I'll,
Naveed.
and give. Spell it out, Andrew.
Dumb and Dumber.
All right, let's go. Let's do this. I think we can get this done naturally. So, socks or underwear for Father's Day?
Socks.
Sucks.
Underwear. Actually, wait, we just answered that. Should we be commenting or should we just keep ripping through?
Well, the reason why socks is like I have a very specific type of underwear I like, and I don't want.
What
my
do you
kids-
like? Tell me.
I'm like a big fan of like there's 2 types, and I completely am blanking on it. But Bomba is one of them.
Okay.
Bomba makes really good underwear.
No, those
so-
are socks, right?
They make both.
They make
They make
socks.
socks and underwear.
Yeah. I don't really like Bomba socks though.
I tell you, the
They're
underwear.
too tight. They're like.
I
compressing
feel
on
like
your
this
feet.
comes up at least once a week with you and I. But Lululemon underwear.
Lululemon, man. I knew you were thinking
really?
Lululemon. I just
Lululemon.
am not gonna go drop $95 on a pair of
Yeah,
underwear.
no, can't do it.
Lulu-
It's a principle on
75.
that one.
75. I'm so sorry.
Lululemon underwear feel amazing.
Yeah.
Like they
Bet they
aren't
do.
they aren't made of silk, but it feels like you're wearing like, not that I've worn silk underwear. I don't. Let's just maybe do the next question.
Next.
What time is the perfect Father's Day nap?
3:45.
I would say 3 o'clock.
You are being so specific these with these questions.
What's yours? What time is yours?
I'd say 11 a.m.
Okay.
Early nap. Big breakfast. Early nap.
Big breakfast. Well,
Okay.
Let me give you the reason
That's
why.
a sign of a good breakfast, by the way. If you
But-
want to go to sleep
Yeah.
after breakfast, you
Very
did
true.
it right.
But
Yeah.
let me give you the reason why. Because my kids usually nap somewhere around 12:30. So if I can have a nap before them and then be awake when they're awake, I've cheated the system and I've got multiple hours under my belt where I've napped and now I have free time while they're sleeping.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
That's why 3:45.
preemptive,
They've
their
already
nap.
woken up and they're
it's the same
jacked.
concept.
They're
We're
jacked.
I'm
I'm
going
like,
down.
peace. I'm
Yeah,
out.
I was going to say, we're
And usually there's golf on around that time, so they just kind of zonk out.
yeah, we're bookending the system there.
Yeah, that's great.
What's yours?
That's great. Mine was 3 o'clock, which
3 o'clock.
Yeah, or it might even be a little earlier than that. It might be like the 2:15ish.
All right.
would be good.
250.
250. Could be 10 minutes.
Is that Eastern time?
big 10
or
minutes. Okay.
Yeah, it's a solid 10.
favorite dad movie of all time? You can draw on one of the previous episodes.
Oof. I don't have any.
I'm going to say Father of the Bride. Like that's
That's what I was gonna go to.
yeah, dad movie.
Classic.
All right. Steak or pancakes on Father's Day? You can only pick one.
Pancakes.
I'd say pancakes too.
I'd go with
Yeah,
pancakes.
pancakes.
As well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One word your
Beef.
kids would use to describe you.
Intense. Probably intense.
I'm going to take intense too.
Or intense or just
Unpredictable.
unpredictable.
Predictable.
Maverick.
Atomic.
Wild card.
Asterisk.
Matt, give us a good answer,
man.
please.
I don't have a great
Yeah.
answer. Maybe playful.
He's like,
I like
protective.
playful. Protective.
Playful,
Yeah.
gentle,
Yeah.
kind,
Gentle.
funny,
Very strong.
handsome.
Yeah, very, very strong. I think that was
Bench press is 225. I said one word. Worst. We can skip some if we don't like these because I literally just pulled these out. Worst gift you've ever received on Father's Day.
I don't know. I can't think of anything.
No, I know.
I know there is one, but I can't think of it.
Yeah.
Best gift you've ever received.
I'd say the
I'm
same
going to stick with the Lululemon undies.
Yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
I was gonna say my kids. Naveed, that's an
Yeah.
easy answer.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cut that one.
Jeez, you got underwear. You picked underwear.
Protective, loving. Would you rather grill or be served food?
Served food.
Grill.
I'd say grill too.
Yeah.
Finish this sentence. Father's Day is the one day I ... do nothing guilt-free.
I'd just say relax.
Okay. Matt?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna steal Andrew's answer on that one. I say relax. Yeah, it's the one
Frankie
day too
says
where I just
relax.
try. Yeah, it's just like there's no pressure on that day, which is great because you do feel like okay, there's no pressure, so we just kind of chill, go with
Father's
the
Day
flow.
is like the day you know
Or-
you're never gonna be woken up to be like, oh, by the way, I forgot we have this kid's birthday today, and you're just like, oh.
That's true.
Yeah.
So Father's Day is like
That's
a
so
day you
true.
relax.
Yeah.
Ultimate dad snack. Beef jerky or trail mix? I'm trail mix.
Probably beef jerky.
Yeah, if we're going with a high quality cut of beef, I'm going beef jerky.
Beef jerky.
Maybe a Chomps, jalapeno. Shout out Chomps. We're available for sponsors if you want.
Dude, Chomps. They've got some of these like I think the venison one now
Oh,
or
yeah.
something like
They
that.
have,
They're
like-
they're solid.
They're really
dude.
good.
The normal
Yeah.
ones are good, but
Yeah,
they've
they're
got some
good.
other
I like. Yeah.
Side note, jerky, right? Side note. So we had like we had a mouse in our garage recently, and
Was he working out with you?
but the we've used this every single time, and it has a 100% success rate. Is jerky
Okay.
in a mouse trap has worked every single time. We've caught the mouse every single time.
Did you let him go? Is it the same mouse?
Well, he's my workout partner.
Just coming for a free meal at this point.
Just play dead, okay? That's about the manliest thing I do in my house. Have you ever bought yourself your own Father's Day gift?
I feel like I have.
I probably have. I can't remember, but-
Because it's like early. You find it early, and then you
Yeah.
justify it, like, you know what? Just
Yeah,
use this as a
that's fair.
Father's Day gift.
I most
Yeah.
likely have.
Yeah.
Who's better at reading bedtime stories, you or your partner?
I'm better at reading. She's better at making them up.
Okay.
100%.
Matt?
This is tough. I'm usually not in there when she's reading, so I don't have a great. So I gotta
Are
say
you an
me, I
absent
guess.
father, man? Are you even a dad?
We're usually split up. All right.
Loving, handsome, kind.
Absent.
485
Yeah,
on the squad.
Let's go back to
I'm usually
one
reading
word
the
your
littles.
kids would use to describe you.
I'll go with my wife.
I'd say my wife too, because my kids can't understand a word I say when I'm reading the story.
It's
I have to repeat myself so many times. Would you trade a Father's Day brunch for 2 hours of silence?
Oh man, that's a tough one for me. I love brunch,
No.
but I never get silence.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to do with silence.
Yeah. I love brunch
You
too
definitely
much.
shouldn't get silence. You need to
Yeah.
be, yeah.
I need to be engaged. I'm gonna be
What do
sleeping.
you got, Matt?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the brunch, man. That's my weakness. So I got
Okay.
a good brunch. I'm gonna take that.
You silence, obviously.
It depends on how the kids are behaving.
Silence.
Depends on the day.
It's brunch.
Actually,
dude.
I want silence at brunch. I want 2
Oh,
hours
there
of
you
a
go.
I want
I
a
don't
two-
think you can do that.
I want a
No.
2 hour
That seems
silent
like a cake and
brunch.
eat it too
Yeah.
type scenario.
It's not happening. You gotta pick one or the other.
Last one. What would be in your dream Father's Day gift basket? 3 things.
3 things.
I just made up 3 things. The question
Three
doesn't
things.
say
What do you
3
got?
things.
Naveed?
Golf balls.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll take that one too.
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
Costco gift card.
I'd take a gift card. I'd take a gift card. Gift card, golf clubs. Not golf clubs. That's just upgraded. Golf balls.
I'll say a note or a card for my kids. Put that in there.
Oh, you're really pushing the sentimental angle.
Yeah,
of,
man.
Yeah.
Mr. Absent
That's right.
Father.
That's right. See,
Yeah.
I'm not
I
absent.
would do. I like cigars. I do like a really nice cigar. Like a cigar that's probably
a good
more
one,
expensive than
actually.
I would buy
Yeah.
myself.
That's always
Like
a great gift.
Like a $40 or $50 cigar,
That's
which
a
is
good-
probably a
that's a
little
good
too much
gift.
to spend, at least for
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
to spend on myself. But yeah, I'd do that.
Yeah.
So I really just need golf balls and a cigar.
Yeah,
2
only need
cigars.
2.
A cigar,
Well, and
whatever.
a gift card. Yeah, so that's
A gift
it.
card. I don't really
Yeah,
like
yeah.
gift. Do you guys like? How actively do you manage your gift cards?
Not at all. I think I probably have millions of dollars stuffed away.
I
in
don't-
gift
I don't have
cards.
that
I
many.
found a stack of gift cards. My wife did, I should
Yeah.
say. And we were shocked at how
Really?
many gift cards we
Yeah.
have that we just haven't, like, I've got a gift card that I literally didn't even know I had. And I'm like, I guess we got to figure out how to use this thing. And it becomes like a chore to how to use the thing.
Yeah.
So anyway. Yeah.
Nice.
great.
Well, that's all I had. Let's move to dad interest for this week.
I got a dad interest. Actually, shout out to my brother and sister-in-law. They were up from Nashville this
Nice.
weekend. They stayed with us. They bring their little son with them, and he's a month older than my youngest. So it's just chaos. It's just 5 kids, little ones running around. Anyway, it was a working trip. They are both actors in Nashville.
Oh, cool.
Super
Oh, nice.
talented. They're super talented, and they have a kids educational show that they do, podcast called Kids on the Square. And we actually were recording this weekend because they wrote us in to the script, our family unit.
Oh, that's
Oh,
awesome.
that's
Super
fun.
fun. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, we're all in character and stuff like that, but
Were you the absent father, or
shows up after 30 years.
Why do you smell like booze, Dad?
And beef jerky.
but he can bench 225s?
That's right. But no, so yeah, shout out. And it's great content. If anyone's interested in listening to some, like I said, it's kids educational content. They do a fantastic job producing this. Again, this is their world. The stories are really fun. They're really engaging. My kids love them. And it's really cool to kind of see my kids like doing that, and they coach my kids to help them through the lines, and they're amazing. So shout out.
Where can we find their
You
content?
can find Spotify. I know you can download on Spotify, probably all the other places
What's it
as well.
called again?
But Kids on the Square.
Kids on the Square.
Yeah,
Okay.
Kids
Cool,
on the
we'll
Square.
check
So
it out.
check that out.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. Good stuff. Well, take us home, Matt.
Yeah, listen, guys, this is the place for dads. So we are building a community for dads. Look, if you are a new dad, if you're an old dad, if you're interested in what it's like being a dad, and you got input on this journey of fatherhood, we would love to hear from you guys. If you guys have any comments on episodes or feedback on what we're talking about, hit us up. We'd love to hear you guys. You can follow us on YouTube, you can subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and I think that's it.
Happy Father's Day, everyone.
Happy Father's Day.
Cheers.
Take care.
Cheers.